I'm telling, like, this is, I mean, this is definitely a writer directed. Like this, the director definitely wrote this movie because I don't know. I can't think
Right.
of too many characters like Carolyn Fry in films. Can you?
Let's see. Well, tough female sci-fi archetype. We all praises due to Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
That's basically generally acknowledged to be the start of that.
But she wanted to save
Uh,
the ship. She didn't want the people
r-
to come. Oh, she made
right.
hard decisions though. I guess that was kind of cold. Like not cold. It was
Exactly.
smart. Like if they did that, everyone would have lived.
Correct. Correct. So basically, she's, Dark Ripley. Eventually
Oh.
she comes. Eventually she comes around to, yeah, okay, let's save mankind. But at first she's highly indifferent to mankind. And you are correct that the Fry prequel story would probably be a brutal tale of like loss and sexual harassment or something. Like she's been through a lot
Mm-hmm.
for her to get. She's totally indifferent. There's 40 people minimum. Because remember, I think there were three segments to the ship, and she dumped like the first two real quick.
Yeah, she didn't care.
So were those totally empty? You know, we acknowledge the fact that there are 40 people in that one part, and she was just like, I shouldn't do it. And then something happened. She was like, nope, get them out. I'm not dying for them.
She was like, hit you.
Yeah,
Pulls it.
yeah, exactly. And so it's the reason why kidnappers they're not supposed to kidnappers don't want to know your name because it becomes personal and then they become your friend and then Stockholm syndrome. I think that works both ways to me. But anyway, yeah, she gets to know them, and this is her thing. She spent a lot of time probably just not being friendly with people after some horrific incident in her past, and then she got to know humanity again, and now she's, yeah, okay, let me not kill this dude and this girl.
And you know what's interesting too? David Twohy, when he got the script, Riddick was a woman, and he gave the role to Vin
Huh?
Diesel. And then Carolyn Fry has this great turnaround, then she gets killed. So it's kind of
Yes.
interesting. It's kind of it's kind of
It subverts what you think,
yeah,
because this is one of those there we have all watched a lot of those movies where if there's a famous person, we know that person's going to live to the end. In 2000, you don't know who
yeah.
necessarily is going to until the end, because the biggest film that Vin Diesel had up until this time was, I think before this he was in Saving Private Ryan, and then he started to really get noticed after Boiler Room.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to live, but the way that they had Fry positioned, yeah, she probably was supposed to live. So it definitely subverts your expectations.
Oh, yeah, I remember her being killed, and I just kind of went, "What?" That did
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
That definitely hit me kind of hard for sure. And
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it does do a good job subverting those expectations. And so yeah, he had done Iron Giant, Saving Private Ryan, and he did that short called Strays. And then he
Hmm.
moved, yeah, Boiler Room. Oh yeah, Boiler Room and Pitch Black came out in 2000, so he had a good 2000.
Hmm.
And then
Oh
Knockaround
yeah.
Guys, 500 fights. You know what happens? You have your first fight, and then you have your second fight, and then you have your third fight, then you have your fourth fight, then you have your fifth fight, then you have your
He's
sixth fight,
just listing the.
then you have your seventh fight,
He's just going through ordinal numbers.
and then you have your eighth fight, and then there's your ninth fight, and then the 10th fight happens. You're in double digits, and you have your 11th
Oh,
fight,
there's a lot of these fights.
and then three
Yeah.
hours later, then you had your 334th fight. But when you get to 500, you know, you know, it's like, man,
100%. What do we know?
yeah,
That you've had a lot of fights.
you've been punched a lot.
You've been punched a
You
lot.
would not be able to count to 500
Up
fights.
until this time, up until this time, this movie comes out February 2000. Like the year before, the most unbelievable movie was The Matrix. The Matrix came out the year before this.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, a lot of the sci-fi that was coming out at the time is very, very predictable. We have the iconic Deep Blue Sea, of course.
Epic.
That one subverted expectations when they kill the doctor at the end. You know, The Truman Show,
Oh,
Species
so good.
2 come out before that, Godzilla 98, and then we had the classic Armageddon versus Deep Impact. It's not like a lot of super subversive sci-fi, not subversive, super, oh, this is surprising. Not a lot of surprising stuff was coming out.
And you know what I like too about this movie? It thrived on simplicity. It
Right.
it just okay. People crash land on a planet. They're on a death planet at the absolute worst time. When it becomes dark, monsters come out. And there's one
Mm-hmm.
dude that has spent time in prison and he can see in the dark and he's cool. Like that's a really
Mm-hmm.
I miss the simplicity of that. Those kind of
Exactly.
like those creature features. Like remember the relic monster gets stuck in a museum. It's like, "Oh, cool."
Classic
Like
movie.
yeah.
Done. Sign me up.
Anaconda. They go out on the river. There's an anaconda. Like I'm that's
Big-
I was thinking about this. I was talking to Megan, and this may sound like a weird conversation to most people. I just looked over and I was like, Megan, if I had to like, I plan on getting stuck on desert islands. I was like, if I ever got stuck on a desert island, they told me I could bring one genre of film, I would bring creature features, because there's
You
just
have
something
to.
very comforting about them for me. I mean, we've talked about
It's very
Gremlins,
simple.
other movies. I just love Tremors. I think Tremors. I mean, they're in the town perfection, but I think that's a perfect movie. And so
Yeah, it is.
I just love creature features, and I think Pitch Black is just another good one. I think it belongs in the upper tier of creature features.
100%. 100%. And DVD is what
Oh man, yeah.
saved this movie.
Mm-hmm.
DVD saved this movie and the sequel. The sequel, quote unquote, bombed, but DVD, that wonderful time, boys and girls, when you still had physical media. And not everything was just being streamed at you or you click on the website and rent. No, you could actually hold this disc in your hand. Our friend Hoffmeyer still buys the Blu-rays, and that's why this movie blew up. Because it was okay in the theaters, but I bought every copy of Pitch Black I could find in 2000 when this
Because
movie came out on DVD.
it's cool, man. This is a cool
It's such a
movie.
good home movie. It's a great movie to watch.
And it
It's a
has
great.
moments like it moves along at a nice brisk speed. You can kind of
Doesn't
come
lag.
in, come out of it. Like you can put on HBO. You can go heat up your hot pocket, munch on it for a little bit, go walk
Mhm.
around outside, come back in. Oh, hey, it's the Cobra fight. Like you can just watch that. It's yeah, and listen, I keep saying this, but yeah, Dave. We made fun of David Twohy earlier, but yeah, I think he
Yes, we
went out
did.
with $25 million and he made something that was quite unique and quite
Hmm.
different. And this movie. I remember I went and watched this. I was a junior in high school, and there was a group of like 8 of us watching it. And I remember, like, I was one who always went to movies by myself. Like I remember I like skipped school to go see Snatch. I was like the guy who did that. But 8 people went and watched Pitch Black because we all thought Vin Diesel was cool. Like that was like, I don't know.
100%.
Yeah, it was a really interesting time for him. And this is a really weird story, but I remember I was in college and I went. My brother, took his girlfriend, she took her friends, and we all went and watched Triple X. And I remember one of her friends watching, and she's like, "I need to go have sex." I guess Vin Diesel was that awesome in this movie in that Triple X. But he was cool back then, man. I'm not saying he's not cool now. And actually, I really appreciate like you said that like he brought in like I think he just been inclusive and diverse. Like look at the Fast movies, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I mean like
yeah,
John
yeah.
Singleton, Justin Lin, James Wan, F. Gary Gray. I think he's always
Hmm.
embraced that, and that's what I kind of love about Vin Diesel. And like like I know Dwayne Johnson went off on him, but like I don't know, man. I
Right.
respect like he brings like The Last Witch Hunter and like these weirdo movies. Like I like what he does, and like I think
Often
I don't know.
it's it's no, what you're saying is correct,
Yeah.
man. Listen, not a lot of brothers in sci-fi, not a lot of black people or African Americans, I'm sorry, not a lot of African Americans in sci-fi in general, which is why it was such a big deal that Uhura was in Star Trek in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And Vin is the lead in this movie. He's the lead. He's the head on the poster. Sci-fi up until that point, not a lot of brothers leading. You know, Will Smith in '96, he got Independence Day. That's one of the main reasons why that movie made so much money. Because he brings the swag, he brings the style.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy on the eyes, great at delivering his lines. You know what I mean? And strong. And this is what it is. Beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And then Diesel, he eventually gets the sequel. Not so great. Chronicles of Riddick, not so great. But he puts Tandy Newton in there. Tandiwe? Tandiwe?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Tandy.
Yeah.
Okay. He puts her in there. She is Big Bad's girlfriend, wife, consort. I don't know the words. Long story short, yeah, good to see Vin Diesel doing weird sci-fi fantasy stuff, bringing other types of people
And
and putting them in big places.
look at Triple X
On the
Return of Xander Cage. He brought Donnie Yen in, Tony Jaa,
mm.
like he, I don't know, like Sam, like he has Tony Collette in there too. Like he'll put Judi
Yeah.
Dench in his movies. So I just think I don't know why people, I just don't know why people make fun of him. I guess I understand why.
Well, what ended up happening with him is that Riddick did well, and then he tried to do more sci-fi fantasy stuff, but Babylon AD,
Oh
that movie's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That movie, it's a little generic. The Last Witch Hunter, because he's heavy into D&D type of stuff.
Yep.
So he does The Last Witch Hunter. He stars in that. He is trying to do weird and different stuff, and it's good. It's good. I like him.
Dude, Bloodshot.
I'm down with him.
Sorry to interrupt. I love that Guy Pearce is in it. Like I love Bloodshot because it's like Guy Pearce, Isaac Gonzalez, Lamorne Morris from The New Girl. It's like there's a scene in Bloodshot where Lamorne Morris is like, "Why don't you say thank you?" And then Bloodshot, he plays he's like thank you. And then for the rest of the movie, whenever Lamorne Morris does something, Bloodshot's like, "Hey, thank you." Like I don't know, it's nice little touches, man. I don't know. I know I'm off of Pitch Black here, and I talk about Diesel a lot, but I don't know. I think it's way too easy to hate on this guy, and I think it's very short-sighted, Norbert. I mean, I get it, but I think it's very I think it's very empty to kind of insult this guy.
It is.
And
it is. He's better than advertised. He's not Earth's greatest actor, but he gets the job done.
And if people hated him, like all the Fast crew returned, Justin Lin returned. He wouldn't be bringing in Jason Momoa for Fast 10. He wouldn't be bringing in John Cena for Fast 9. Like, people want to work with this dude. So it's not like he's the worst guy on the planet. So I don't know. I just don't like this narrative. And it was just fun watching this movie. I mean, listen, he was cool in Saving Private Ryan. He did make a mark. The problem is Saving Private Ryan's so good that you kind of forget about him because it's just it's just so good. But yeah, this was fun watching because I think you just watch us and you're like, okay, this is why we have Vin Diesel, and that was this movie. And I guess that's another credit to David Twohy. I think he understood his strengths and he played to it. So no, it was cool.
Hey,
it was good.
I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
The reason why I mentioned earlier is Riddick Wolverine is because not only does he just dislocate his shoulders on his own at will, but John breaks his arm at the elbow and he just snaps it back.
Yep. He's Wolverine.
He is, right?
Yeah.
I'm not tripping.
No. Yeah, Johns gets him.
Okay. And then the eye thing.
Oof.
He gets the eyes in prison. Eye surgery in prison, dude? Is that hygienic? Yeah, I mean, these are cats who are making wine in toilet bowls.
He got eye surgery for 20 menthols. Like, this dude, I think a good doctor would ask for at least 40.
Well, and not only that, okay, he gives him the menthols. Is this guy smoking while he's just literally digging his eyes out of his skull? What is happening in the future, man? Also, how does that breather thing work? All they're doing is like taking pulls off it like it's a bong. They don't cover their nose. And then eventually no one cares about the breather thing anymore because they're just running for their lives.
Yeah, no one uses it. Oh, I do love the scene where Fry brings him Shaza gives him the breather.
Yes, Shaza. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, what is this, broken? Then she gets all pissed off at him. I'm like, no, it's like 3 left, man. I was just saying sorry. Then
I'm trying to say sorry, asshole.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, whoops.
And then she gets torn apart anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And I just found out he's doing a movie called Muscle coming up soon, and F. Gary Gray's directing it. He did Fast 8. So like, if the dude hated Vin Diesel, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm on this kick, man. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't think he's. I agree with you. I don't think he's. Look, the guy's been playing D&D for 30 years. He's a nerd. He's not a bad person.
He does not belong in the asshole Hall of Fame.
I don't think so. And I don't know him personally. But from what I see, yeah, he's just a geek. He's a geek, bro. He's a blur.
His name is Richard B. Riddick. Like that's.
Oh
man,
that's a hilarious name.
Richard B. Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Riddick. That is Dick Riddick. I mean, that's not like a cool name.
Not at all.
If you think about it, Dick Riddick.
Dick Riddick. Dick Riddick grew up in a garbage can with an umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. That's why he's so strong.
Oh man, but yeah, he has just enough dialogue